What's up, guys? Stephen One Boy Thompson.
The IBF champion, Earl Smith.
This is Cynthia Calvio.
Hi, this is Nikhil Mayer.
This is Derek the Black D. Slows.
This David Miracle Man Jacob. Shout out to Kendrick and Matt.
And you're listening to the Slip and Dip podcast
With your boy Kendrick and Matt.
And you're listening to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
Woo! Bomb Squad never gets old. Always gets me pumped. Ready to roll. Slip and Dip podcast. Kenny Johnson, Matthew Wells. Coming to you after a week hiatus to represent Memorial Day. Now we back better than ever. Got an action-packed podcast. Have UFC heavyweight Rashad Coulter going to join us. We're going to have one of the best trainers in the world, Mr. Trevor Wittman, making a return to the Slip and Dip podcast. And we have a special guest. We'll see how it goes. I'll let Matt talk about that one.
Oh man, we got Miss Andrea Lee is scheduled to come on the show tonight, and obviously everybody knows what's going on the world of social media and everything like that. So I don't want to get into that any more than we have to right now, but it's definitely going to come up. So strap in for that.
Straight off the heels of UFC Utica highlight reel knockout by Mr. Marlon Moraes. I didn't see it coming. He made believe out of me. I thought he was like top 10 fighter, but not elite. He said he showed up. He's elite because he catch you with that leg. People go to sleep. Didn't Rivera know what the hell he was. That was a great stop. I forgot. Was it Dave Margiela, right? I forgot the referee. That was a great stop.
Yeah, Tandan?
Yeah.
Tandan with the great stoppage.
Yeah, that was great stoppage. That was perfect. If you're going to show a textbook on how to stop something like that, he came at the right time. It's maybe one extra punch if you want to be nitpicked, but I've seen 20 times worse.
I mean, if anybody had an issue with that stoppage, you're crazy. Great stoppage, but yeah, magic. Marlon Moraes getting it done again, man. Looks amazing.
He made believe out of me. I thought he was going to lose. Technically, I didn't think it was going to be a knockout, so I didn't see that coming.
Like I told you last episode, or like we didn't have it at last episode, but like I told you in our conversations throughout the week, I was like, man, this is the closest thing to a toss up as it gets. Like
he did his job. He did what he had to do.
He's got those one hitter quitters, man. He'll get you out of there.
And keeping on the combat scene, I went by Mr. Earl Smith's gym, talked to him and Jermell Charlo. So I had two for the price of one. Hang out in West Dallas. Boy, them boys are wild out there. Jermell Charlo fights this weekend in California, and Earl's fights at the Star in Frisco, Texas. And both basically stay busy fights. Each of them should defend their titles and move on. I'm not expecting any problems after seeing them hit that heavy bag, man. I was like, man, I don't know how. I know my man Derek James be Soares, trainer of the year, who guaranteed us a visit to the Slip and Dip podcast once they get these two victories in the next 2 weeks. Said for me, hit him up. 2017 boxing trainer of the year, Derek James.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I guess we've been hitting up gyms a little bit, man. I went out to Fortis MMA the other day. I took in Mike Jackson's last training session before the big fight, the people's main event, as he calls it, before he takes on CM Punk. Before he takes on CM Punk, and yeah, man, he was out there. He was getting some work in with Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal from UFC Austin made his UFC debut. Spectacular knockout.
We'll get him a shot,
Both of them look really sharp. I talked to him. We're working on it. But yeah, I went out there, man. Fortis MMA is a great facility, and guys are putting in some work, man.
Left your boy hanging.
I got there's an article up on Fansided right now. We got the video on our YouTube page as well that I got with Mike. So if you're listening to this, go check that out as well. And if you're watching on YouTube, hey, it's on the playlist. Click on it after you finish watching this episode. So
we need to add that Earl Spence one to it too. While I think about it.
For sure.
But just not to really toot our horns, but to toot our horns. Unlike a lot of people, me and Matt actually watch the damn fights and we talk to the damn fighters. So what we tell you is not hearsay. We usually get direct sources via in the boxing world, in the MMA world. Check our records, which is pretty high, I would say. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Wells?
That's pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm not some grand predictor of outcomes of fights or anything, but
I'm talking about when we say somebody said something, we say what's happening. I'm not talking about like fights. My record's better than yours for that record.
I try not to guess. Unless if I say I'm guessing at something, I will say flat out I'm guessing, or this is what I think is happening. Versus educate, it's educated guesses, and sometimes it's straight from the source. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, so. I guess, but coming up, man, like I said, we had the last week off. Missed the Bellator event. Missed UFC Liverpool.
I forgot about our boy. One of the boys said he would definitely come on. Neil Magny definitely come on because he got the call. We got a little special little thing for our man Neil for showing us love. We're gonna unveil whenever he comes on. But I still think Wonder Boy won. I watched the fight twice.
Yeah, he won.
He won 3-2.
He won.
But if they really want to rerun it back, they would rerun it back over here in America in Las Vegas, and let's do this.
It's not happening. They're not gonna run that fight back. Unless they absolutely have to, which is not going to happen. The only good thing, if there is a good thing about the wrong winner being awarded the victory, is that it completely shakes up the division. So we have all sorts of new matchups that can be possible at 170. Who knows what's going to shake out after this RDA Covington fight. I think that'll answer a lot of things coming up here just this weekend at UFC 225. So,
who you going with?
Man, I'm going with RDA, of course.
Experience.
I'm going with RDA just because he's a better fighter all around. And I like his wittiness too, man. He's got some fire on his trash talk game, but it's real subtle. But you pay attention.
He's the one, what you call a veteran with some skins on the wall. I was at his to me, I think the best fight ever. He's not the best fight. His best fight ever when he demolished Anthony Pettis. That man was like a beast that day. He just another dude. So he definitely has that ability to click that switch and go to another level.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster, man. So let's talk real quick. Let's hit on a couple of things at UFC 225. I'll say the main event: Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero. How do you see the rematch going down?
I got Robert Whittaker winning. I like to go with the younger man, but he strikes me as somebody, once he sees you once, he's got you figured out. He's a guy that would be very hard to see twice and think he's going to get the same thing. And Yoel, you know what you're going to get. You can't reinvent yourself.
Kind of crazy Wonder Boy knocked him out. You remember that, right?
Huh?
It's kind of crazy Wonder Boy knocked out Whittaker,
Whittaker, yeah. But Wonder Boy got that style. I don't think too why people hating on Wonder Boy for his style when if you don't fight that way, you pay the price.
No, that's the thing.
It's not on him to change his game up. It's on you to do what Tyron did. And I didn't have him winning. Till did. He's like, hey, you ain't gonna beat me by kicking my damn head off. Because I know what you tried to do. So why does he need to fight a different fight to entertain people? And he might get his head knocked off. I don't think he won the fight, but I agree with the way he fought that fight.
Yeah, he fought just like a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fought. I had a couple people hitting me up on Twitter.
Yeah, you get crunk, bro.
Arguing with me about how the fight. I'm like, you've obviously never seen Wonderboy fight before. And then this particular person, I'm not going to name any names. I'm not naming any names, but this particular person admitted he's never watched Wonderboy fight. So how are you going to argue with somebody who watches? I got worked up a little bit. I'm like, you're arguing and you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You're arguing with me and you don't know what you're talking about. Like, come on, bro. Like it just doesn't make sense. But anyways, let's get off of Wonderboy, man. Co-main event featuring Megan Anderson making her debut against Holly Holm. You think the experience holds true in this one too? What do you think?
I think Holly's experience, but we'll see how good Megan Anderson is. I just don't want to see her fighting Cyborg in 2018. I was the first time I saw her. I had never seen Megan Anderson. I saw her about how big she is. She's an attractive lady, and she's really nice. I'm like, okay, she's check. Yeah. And then she's like, yeah, I'm the future of the division. Check, I get you. She's 24. But I don't think I'm ready for Chris Cyborg for another 2 years.
That was over 2 years ago.
No, it wasn't. It was last summer.
That was nearly 2 years.
I know when I saw this lady. It was last summer at the International Fight Week because it was one of the whole Valentina stuff. I saw her. How you gonna tell me why I saw this lady?
Because I was right there too. I was right there with you. Was that not 2 years ago?
It wasn't even the whole year yet.
That wasn't at UFC 200?
No.
Which one was that? Which one was that?
So you get it mixed. That's the first time I met you, man. It was last summer, bro.
No, that's right. It was at 206, right?
Get it right? Because Cyborg was there.
That's right. Yeah. Or 209. Which one was it? 209, 206? I forget. Anyways,
it was the one that got canceled with Valentina and Amanda.
Yeah. You're right about that.
But
still, that's a lot of time. My point is that's a lot of time.
We'll learn a lot about her because she's got the whole octagon jitters, which everybody that's been in there, I believe it. I know we observe this and do this for a living, but everybody we talk to say, yeah, the first time you're in there is completely different, regardless of how accomplished you are. So I think Holly's experience should pay the bills.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, she didn't get dropped by Cyborg. She's the only person that's been toe-to-toe with Cyborg and let her tell about it. So I'm pretty confident, and she's got the Ronda victory in their belt and to experience all the fights. So I think her experience will pay the bills. It might actually be a boring technical fight, but I don't see how Anderson can beat her unless he catches her with something.
No, I mean, I agree. It's just, I'm curious to see what Megan Anderson looks like, because I know what she looked like last time she fought, and to have all this time to just do nothing but training. She said she's made leaps and bounds in her game, and I want to believe her, but you're going in there against former UFC champion that knocked out Ronda, that took away the facade of invisibility that Ronda Rousey was shrouded in, and it's she's still very much a dangerous opponent for anybody. So it's going to be an interesting fight. This whole card, man, is stacked. I'm excited for it through and through. Like I said, we got Rashad Coulter, who is heading off the FS1 prelims on the show here coming up soon. Just names across the board, man. You got Joseph Benavidez and Sergio Pettis on Fight Pass prelims.
My man disrespect. He said they disrespected me.
Fight Pass prelims. I don't blame him. He's the number one ranked guy in that division, and you're putting him on Fight Pass prelims.
But people kind of forgot his name and
it's been a while.
Move, though, he doesn't push the needle. But I show you how the UFC is. You can get forgotten real fast unless you like a Conor McGregor or Nick Diaz.
I agree. I can see both sides to it. Same time, I mean, if you got a number one ranked guy, you might want to get him off your like super early prelims. I'm just saying, but it is what it is. That's where we're at, man. Let's hop into some of these interviews, man. Trevor Wittman, Rashad Coulter, and then
Rashad Coulter's first, brother.
Oh, sorry, Rashad Coulter is first, then Trevor Wittman, then Andrea Lee. So we'll hit you guys with that, and enjoy the rest of the show. Follow us on iTunes and Spreaker. At Slip and Dip Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button.
Go to the show.
We're trying to grow the audience, man. So help us out with just doing those quick little things, and help us out there. And also, please leave a review on iTunes for the show as well, because that helps our visibility too. Just some quick little things that you can do to help us grow. And follow us on the social media at Kendrick Johnso, at Mr. M. Wells Art, and the show at Slip and Dip Podcast. Enjoy these interviews, and we will catch you guys later.
Getting that ball rolling, please welcome to the Slip and Dip Podcast, making his Slip and Dip debut. He will be fighting this week on Saturday, UFC 225, UFC heavyweight with Rashad Coulter, man. Thanks for joining us, man. You ready to knock somebody out, man?
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
What have you learned from your first two fights that will help you? Because, of course, people don't like to lose, but what do you learn from those losses that will help you ready for this big stage?
Actually, man, the first fight I took on short notice. I took it on 9 days. So I really wasn't in the best of fight shape. So that kind of played against me. Also, 2 minutes into the first round, I tore my quad muscle in the first round. So I fought the whole fight. My first fight with a torn quad muscle. A lot of people don't know that, but you know, then the second fight, man, I became obsessed with my opponent, man. Just watching him, and I watched so much film on him that I knew what he was gonna do before he did it. And at the end of the day, it kind of backfired on me, man. So I found myself waiting around for him to do what he wanted to do, and I didn't get my stuff off. So I was waiting to react to him. So right now, man, I'm just a complete fighter, man. I've been killing myself in the gym, ready to go. I took everything from them losses, man, and it's time for me to get back in my knockout column.
Do you feel that people been hating on you? I know, because we're friends on Facebook and stuff like that. You basically like, y'all been talking all this noise. My redemption is going to be June 9th. Is that kind of how you feel? That people been kind of like jumped off your bandwagon just because you got off to a slow start and the elite level that is the UFC?
Yeah, man, you know, honestly, man, I really don't care about people that jump on the bandwagon or not. You always going to have them people that's like, oh, man, that's my boy, man. He did this, he did that. And like, but you know what? My circle's real small, man. So the same people that's been rocking with me from day one, that's the only ones that I ride with, man. So everybody else, they can say what they want to say, but they don't have the balls to do what I do, man. They don't have the balls to get in there and throw hands with another man. So I don't worry about all them people.
Yeah, man, that's tough. It's a tough thing to do for sure. So, I mean, honestly, like looking at your new opponent, Chris De La Roca, both you guys are, on a 2-fight skid, man. Do you feel like this is like a do or die to stay in the UFC?
Somewhat I do, but I mean, I'm an exciting fighter, man. Like, the first fight, I got fight of the night bonus. The second fight, I took on the number 12th ranked dude in his home country. So, for me, it's always a do or die fight because in this fight game, man, ain't nothing guaranteed. Like, they can cut you just because, so. But for me, I feel as though that I'm an exciting fighter. All I have to do is go out there and win, and I believe my job is secure. They like me. Trust me.
Yeah, I would definitely say, I mean, the excitement was showed in that first fight against Chase Sherman. That was a hell of a fight, man.
We both were there, too.
Yeah, we were there here in Dallas, man, for that one. And a lot of people, like everybody in the back, like, it's very rare, like in the media room, do you see people like clapping and stuff in the back in the media room. But I remember a couple people clapping after that fight. Because both of you guys left it all out there, man.
Yeah.
So we got a taste of what you can do for sure. So we gonna see that same fire on Saturday.
Yeah, man. Well, you're gonna see a smarter fighter. You're gonna see a better in shape fighter. And I'm going back to the old me, man. Like, I'm going back to my roots as far as like Muay Thai and just being aggressive, just being first, being the attacker, bro. Like, I'm going back to my old me, because when I go back to my old me, man, it just seems that dudes can't handle that pressure, and it normally ends up in face plant knockouts or walk off knockouts. And now I'm going back to my old self.
So what would be safe to say? Did you coming out Saturday to look to make a statement? I'm
coming out to do more than make a statement, man. I'm coming to get that 50 racks. I'm coming to get that again. Yeah, not for fight of the night, but for knockout of the night or performance of the night. And I'm just coming to put all these boys on notice, man. Heavyweight division and the light heavyweight division, because I believe I'm gonna bounce back and forth between both. But I'm just coming out, and I want people to understand, like, okay, this is the guy that we've been waiting to see, because they see the potential. They just haven't seen what I can do fully yet. And I think Saturday everybody's going to be like, okay, this guy right here has got something.
Gotcha. Since this is like your third fight, what do you think about this? This is kind of like the most high-profile cards you've been on, high-profile. You got the whole CM Punk, our guy, my man,
Mike
Matt.
Jackson.
Did you see him at Fortis?
I was out at Fortis on Saturday watching Mike Jackson work.
Got that, the People's Main Event, and then you got the whole Yorel and your boy Whitaker. So how's it cool to be around all that talent, knowing that people on eyes on you because you part of that card?
Yeah. For me, man, I'm fighting with, I got a few people on the card that I know very well. Mike Jackson, he's been in our gym this past week. He comes to our gym quite a bit, actually. Every chance he gets, every time Legacy puts on a show here in Dallas, he's always at our gym training. But you know what, man? Like, those dudes, like, I don't get starstruck. And being on the card with all these people, it helps me realize that I belong here, because when I fought Chase Sherman the following week, I went out to the UFC Fighters Retreat, and all these big name people, all the guys that was on the card, like the Yoel Romeros, the Tyron Woodleys, the Dominique Cruzes, like all these people, they're coming up to me and they're like, man, you probably have the most heart of anybody I've ever seen. Like, that fight you had was amazing. Like, I'm getting compliments for these dudes that are legends in the game. So for me, it's like, you know what, bro, like, I'm right up there with these dudes. Like, I just gotta start getting these wins that I know that I can get. And I'm gonna be a household name. I'm gonna be a name that people are gonna be like, you know what, man, that dude right there, they're gonna tune in just to watch me fight, because they know that I'm gonna put on a hell of a fight every single time.
Hey, just remember the Slip and Dip podcast. We've been on from day one. We ain't just jumping on.
Already, bro. Never forget who had your back.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, like you kind of mentioned there earlier about, worrying too much about your opponents and kind of that taking the focus off of what you do better or what you do best. This time around, I
Right.
guess, did you put more trust in what your coaches were telling you, and you just work on what you do, or how did you change it up? Because you hear that all the time. Kind of the differences. Some guys like John Jones, for example. John Jones, like when I asked him about preparing for fights, he was like he studies everything. He said I look at fights as a test, and he's going to study everything he can to prepare for that test. Whereas other guys are like, I don't watch film. I don't want to see what they do. I want to go out there and do what I do. So how much did you make that shift coming into this fight?
Well, people who say that they don't watch film, like to me, that's kind of dumb. You always want to know what your opponent likes to do. You can be like, hey man, this guy's a jiu-jitsu guy, or hey, this guy's a wrestler, but there's so many different guys at that level. Like there's so many different type of wrestlers. There's so many different type of jiu-jitsu guys. Like say there's some jiu-jitsu guys who are very good at guillotines. There's jiu-jitsu guys that's good at leg locks. So for this camp, the only difference that I made was, I watched film of my opponent. Like I know what he likes to do. I know he's going to try to box just to get to the clinch. He really wants to fight on the ground. But I didn't obsess myself with watching him every single day.
Yeah.
I like to know what he likes to do because I want to be prepared. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like for Tai Tuivasa, I watch this dude every fight, every single day, 2 or 3 times a day. And I was like, man, I know what this guy's going to do. That's why I was sitting around, I was just waiting. Every time he did, he never hit me clean because I knew what he was going to do. But other than that, man, like for this fight, the only thing that I did different was, yes, I watched film, but I didn't dwell on it. I didn't spend so much time on it, and I put more time into my cardio, and I put more time into my offense, working on what I want to do, how I want to attack this guy. Because at the end of the day, what it's boiled down to is I'm not locked in that cage with you. You locked in there with me. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have to worry about what I do. And that's the atmosphere, that's the mind frame that I changed for this fight.
How much of sports are like unlike a lot of these people that cover MMA, I say every show because it's true. I cover multiple sports. I cover the NBA, cover college football. Give us some insight to the psychological side that people don't talk about, which can help you win a fight. People think you just basically show the fuck up and throw hands and don't know the psychology that go into this.
Yeah, man, the fight game is really 80% mental, bro. Like, it ain't for everybody, man. Everybody can't get in there and know that, okay, I'm looking at this dude across the cage and he wants to cause me as much bodily harm as possible. So the physical aspect of it is, man, you got to be mentally strong, bro. Like, you can't be worried about, like, it might sound rough, like you can't be worried about your girlfriend or your wife or your kids all week or your family member that's sick all week, like, because that one little bit of chink in your armor, it lets your guard down, man, and then you can be mentally broke. For one, you don't know what this guy's going through. You don't know what his mind frame is. You don't know where he's at in his life. So you got to always be prepared for the best person possible that you're going to face that day. So the mental aspect, man, it's, like I said, it's not for everybody. Like everybody, some dudes, they go in there and they're like, man, like, believe it or not, it's some guys that don't even like getting hit. You have to be okay with getting punched and being like, all right, you know what? You call me and come back, come forward and let everything that you got go. So the mental aspect is probably the biggest part of the fight game.
And how do you avoid getting to my motto is I subscribe to the Floyd Mayweather's theory of boxing, of fighting in general, combat sports. Getting hit is not cool. How do you keep from avoiding that at the heavyweight where you can hit a motherfucker 20 times and hit you that one, boom, it's over with. So how you keep from getting that you hit me, I hit you type of thing at the heavyweight level because it happens so fast.
Man, it's honestly, man, you do things that you work on, like your reaction time, and you work a lot on your defense. Like, I box too. I'm undefeated in boxing as well, but in heavyweight division, all it takes is one punch because the guys are so big. But you also, the name of the game, like Floyd says, is hit and not get hit. that's where you got to do your due diligence outside the cage, man. You got to work on footwork. You got to work on defense. You got to work on slips. You got to work on head movement. You know, so you got to work on angles. Like, you have to do all that to prevent yourself. You have to know how, when a punch is coming, how to roll with a punch to take the power off of the punch that's coming. It's truthfully a science to fighting, bro. So, I mean, just know that you're gonna get hit. You know what I'm saying? Just know that. And once you know that you're gonna get hit, you know what I'm saying? Like, once you know that you're gonna get hit, then you're like, okay, I mean, because nobody really goes in there and they're just flawless. You know, it just doesn't happen, bro. Like, you're gonna get hit. So you need to make up in your mind, I'm gonna get hit, but I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure this fool hit me as least as possible.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important. I mean, I guess that kind of ties into, like, with, you know, making adjustments mid-fights, which Kendrick is always big on. We see a lot of guys that don't adjust after things aren't working.
Do the same shit and want to know why they get some shitty results.
Yeah, but how much of fighting do you watch? Like, outside of, you know, preparing for your own fights, are you a big fan of everything else going on?
Bro, I watch fights. I will watch fights every day, all day if I could. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just love violence. You know what I'm saying? I just love seeing dudes get knocked out. I do, man. Like, that's all I watch is fights. I would literally watch a fight before a football game or for a basketball game. Like, the NBA Finals is on right now. If there is a fight on right now, I'll be watching the fight. Period. Point blank. I don't care. I just love. But, you know, I watch fighting differently. I watch fighting because I respect men that get in there and they lay it out on the line, but I also respect other men's arts. I like to watch other men's tendencies. I like to watch how other dudes prepare for fights. I like to see how other dudes react when they get rocked for a fight. You know what I'm saying? So not only am I watching it as a fan, but I'm watching it and I'm studying. I'm like, man, I'm picking dudes' brains. Like, I'm looking at how they're reacting to certain stuff. Then after that, you know, I take a little bit from everybody that I watch, but I will watch fights 24/7.
Did you watch the bare knuckle event last night?
I didn't, man. I was actually at a father-son's retreat for church with my sons, so I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I wanted to watch it. They actually hit me up. They hit me up in the message. They was like, man, we saw your fight with Chase Sherman. And they was like, yeah, I know that you got a fight coming up for the UFC. There's like, but if the UFC doesn't work out, man, we would love to get you in our organization. And I was like, I hear you. You know what I'm saying? It sounds good, but you got to pay, man. Then they was like, hey, man, there's like, we are very competitive with the pay. I wouldn't mind doing bare knuckle fight. I mean, it's only, you know what I'm saying, 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, it's a lot different, man. I mean, you're gonna see a lot more blood, obviously, from, like, you know, scrapes and cuts and whatnot. But allegedly, it's safer. That's what everybody says. Allegedly. I mean, I think your hands are gonna get cracked up a little bit more, but, you know, there is some truth to that. You know, the gloves are gonna protect you know, you more than your opponent.
Hands.
Yeah. So I don't know. That'd be kind of cool, though. I mean, I saw bits and pieces of it, man. It's interesting. It is interesting. I was watching it kind of like, as you were saying, to see, you know, the different kind of art and stuff. Like, Beck Rawlings looked amazing. You know, why? Because obviously it was just boxing. She didn't have to worry about the kicks and takedowns. But, like, you see a whole different aspect of somebody's game.
Oh, she whooped over him?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So it was pretty interesting to see, man. For sure. So that's good, right, man. Do you are you big into making predictions too, or are you just watch it play out?
Man, you know, for me, man, I never make predictions for fights. But are you talking about my fight coming up? Are you asking me how I'm seeing my fight?
I mean, sure, but I was gonna get you know your pick for the main event, co-main event. You know, between Whitaker and Romero and
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, for my fight, I predict I'm gonna win, and that's my prediction for my fight.
Okay,
that's my prediction.
That would be Rashad Coulter says he's not gonna win,
and I'm gonna win big, bro. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna win big, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so focused and I'm so on point. I'm gonna win big. As far as Joel and Whitaker, man, I honestly think I love Yoel because he's a huge Christian. You know, he fights for God, man. And you know, I was at the fight when they fought the first time, and you know, Whitaker. I mean, Yoel couldn't take Whitaker down. So, and Whitaker, Yoel's been more active than Whitaker since the last time they fought. Whitaker was supposed to fight back in February, but he had like a serious staph infection where he had to go to the hospital, and he hasn't been fighting. He hasn't really been training that much. So we're going to see if the layoff has a lot to do with it. But honestly, man, I think Whitaker is going to beat him again in a decision only because Whitaker has a better gas tank and Whitaker has better striking. And Whitaker stopped all of Yoel's takedowns last fight. So I see the fight playing out the same way. I see Whitaker winning by decision.
Same here. I agree with you. And just hey, you do your thing. You get that hand raise. You ball, you will get a call. That's what we do on the Slip and Dip podcast. When you ball, you get a call. We definitely give you a recall after you get that hand raise. So look forward to coming back on here when you get that podcast.
Absolutely.
That's what's up. We'll do it.
For sure. Rashad, man, thanks for coming on the show. We look forward to your fight, man, on Saturday, kicking off the FS1 prelims against Chris De La Roca. Best of luck, man, out there in Chicago. Get your hand raised, get that bonus, and we'll look forward to talking to you after the fact.
I thank y'all, man. I appreciate it, man. Dallas, Texas, stand up, baby. We coming home with that victory.
Absolutely, man. Well, once again, man, best of luck, and yeah, man, safe travels and all that good stuff, and give them hell on Saturday.
Thank you, brother. See you later, man.
Please welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast, one of the best trainers in all of combat sports, Mr. Trevor Whitman. Trevor, give us some insight to this outstanding 2018 that you have in.
Say that one more time.
Give us some insight to this outstanding 2018 you have in, with your fighters doing good, your business doing good. It's good to be Trevor Whitman in the MMA and boxing world.
Man, it's good to be alive. It's you know, I can only hope for good things to happen, but you know, some years is rough years, so I'm just kind of going with the flow.
How satisfying is the see for the? Because we didn't talk to you since before Rose beat Joanna. How satisfying to see that she got that win and it validated? Because a lot of people were saying that was a fluke. When you do something twice, it ain't a fluke, as we know.
Yeah, you know, the best part about that fight that I feel is the way Rose did it. So we could have went out there and stopped her again, and then questions could have been had again. But to be able to go out there and beat Joanna, who, you know, a year ago was the best 5-round fighter out there, I believe. And to see Rose go out there and then mainly make an adjustment in the 5th round and relax a little bit, and go out there and have some fun. It was really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that definitely answered any questions there, but I mean, it was a solid performance. I mean, the first one was, you know, it shocked the world. The second one, I guess, put that stamp on it even more so. But what do you guys?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, are you guys? I know she's been enjoying life after the fact, but you guys have any idea of when she's wanting to get back in there to defend?
You know, I sit back and I just wait for the call. She stays training and she stays in shape, so she's very disciplined. But it's hard to say, you know, pick when they're going to call us, especially when you're in a champion. You know, we kind of just sit back and wait for that to happen. And who knows? It could be, you know, she could be having one championship fight a year or two, and we're just waiting.
Gotcha. So it's been like Kendrick said, you know, it's been a big year. We've got a lot of awards you're nominated for the World MMA Awards, man. Have you? I know somebody's been in your ear about it, but you know, how do you feel about being nominated for Trainer of the Year?
You know, to me, it's crazy. It's I would not expect it. I've only got three athletes at the moment, and you know, if I were to ever be Coach of the Year, I would have thought it'd be 4 or 5 years ago when I had a team of, you know, 35 professionals, and it's very cool to, I mean, even have the name put up there, you know, with 3 athletes. That just shows what they're doing, and I mean, they're performing and they're putting on great fights, and they're memorable fights. So that's, to me as a coach, I'm just very blessed and honored to be a part of their career. As a coach of the year, I mean, I'm just on the outside. Those are the ones that get in there and perform, and it's just cool for me to plant seeds and see what they're doing.
And not only coach of the year, but those fighters you mentioned are also nominated for awards. You know, Rose got the upset of the year. Justin Gaethje's nominated for 2 fights for fight of the year. It's just, it's madness, man. You know, can we see the Trevor Whitman camp just go up there and sweep all these awards? You know, comeback of the year too, even. I mean, you know, and these are all incredible fights, all incredible moments. I'm seriously thinking like you guys legit have a chance to steal all these awards.
Yeah, that would be cool. I hope they get the awards. Again, it's very cool to see what happens when you step away from, you know, when I was running that large team, and I think I've told you guys before when you guys had me on before, was you start to wear too many hats and you start to get watered down a little bit, and it just shows, you know, if you put your time in to a limited amount of athletes, what really happens. So I think that's really the coolest part to me that came out of it, and just seeing them be so consistent is really, really cool.
And we know you're a big picture guy. How dominant do you think Rose can be? Because me and Matt always talk about a lot of stuff outside the box. Like, a lot of people don't realize, like, people like Joanna and them were basically at the tail end of their career because, you know, most ladies retire in their early 30s. The fact that Rose is so young and gone through this whole Joanna experience, what is it going to take to beat her? And do you think she can reign to, like, she's 30 with another 4 or 5 years? Because it's looking that way. It's going to take a bad lady to even remotely stay with her.
Yeah, I agree. She's very young. She's super, super talented. And, I mean, the main key part is keeping her life balanced is the key to that. So if she can keep her outside life balanced, I feel she'll be unstoppable. But, I mean, there's some really tough chicks coming up, too. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fight where anything can change. But I believe in her, and she believes in herself, which is the key.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I mean, obviously kind of like, you know, that question I asked earlier about, you know, who's going to be next for her. It's like, I don't know. Like, I can't pick anybody out that just, you know, stands out and it's like really knocking on that door, which to me also indicates that, hey, she can hold that belt for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. It'd be very, very good. And if she fights her fight, you know, there's a few losses that we've had, you know, prior to this fight. And, you know, that was really Rose just kind of going out there and just, you know, kind of going with it. Now she's really focused on what she does well and how to shut down people at what they do well. And I feel like there's a lot of times she forced things. I mean, just like the takedown in the 5th round, it wasn't forced. The timing was right. It was hidden. It was hidden behind a punch. When she does stuff like that, she's a very, very hard girl to fight. But when she allows, you know, like the clinch with Carolina, I mean, she kind of allowed that fight to be close in the 3rd round with Carolina fight. But when those types of things happen, it's millimeters that make a difference at this level. And with her going in there and just staying in tune with what she does and how to shut down the basics of what the other athlete is bringing, I definitely think she can ride the top for a long period of time.
Would you want to see her with Carla Esparza kind of to right that wrong, so to speak?
You know, honestly, I've never ever felt like that about fighters losing to a fight and then needing to get that win back. It's really just a timing thing. I look at the Carla Esparza fight as a win in the sense that we gained so much. I remember talking to you guys about that before. I mean, that was a key moment to us. But if Carla continues to do what she's doing, then, I mean, it would be amazing to get back in there with her. But I don't think Rose thinks that way, and I don't think I'll never think that way, that we, you know, need to go back and get a loss. It's more of a learning experience and keep going. And if they continue to ride up the wave, then we want to face the best.
And on your business side, how's it feel to be changing the game with this glove game? Because people are like looking at you as a renowned glove maker and talking about how safe your gloves are and how much they like using them.
Man, it's stressful because I keep selling out. I hate having to tell people, oh, it's longer. It's holding up to the demand has been a tough thing. And, you know, starting this company by myself, it's and not coming in with huge funds to do it. has been a little stressful in the sense of, man, I want people to be wearing them, and we keep selling out, which is a great thing. And the thing's moving. I mean, it's moving so consistently. I mean, we've changed our locations 2 times in the last year because we've outgrown them. I've hired a whole bunch of employees, which is awesome because I love just to be around people, motivate people. So I'm very blessed, man. It's cool to see how much people are enjoying the new technologies, because it's really my new passion. Coaching is always in me, and being able to coach a few athletes is always going to be with me. But being able to leverage things that will help millions of athletes go out there and become better and feel better when they have them on and protect them more. I mean, that to me is, it gets my heart beating. And man, I got a huge burning desire to help the industry that changed my life.
Do you have boxing people coming at you too, or just MMA?
Yeah, I got tons of boxing people coming at me, and right now we're only, I mean, I'm not even marketing. It's crazy. It's cool at word of mouth how that gets around, and especially on the big shows with all the coaches who are using it. It's been a great thing. So, but boxers, yeah, I've got all sorts of different athletes coming at me for them. And we got our new lace-ups that are coming out, and the boxers really love the new lace-ups. The lace goes throughout the whole glove, so you could really feel it cinch up.
Nice. So since you've been growing, like, what's your role in the production right now? Or are you just kind of evolving to just overseeing things, or are you still involved in the actual, making of the gloves?
No, that's where I will always be. I mean, I'm running things and overseeing things and being the visionary, but I will always be behind a sewing machine and creating new designs and rethinking new designs and testing things. I feel like that it needs to be done that way, because I feel like that experience of me learning and my education of growing each time I sew, I learn a little bit more, and my mind opens up to, I can do this different. I can do this different. Because there's so many things that you can have from thought, and then you put it down, and then when you make it, it's just not what you thought it was going to be. So just that consistency of me grinding away behind the sewing machines is going to be the evolution. I really feel that I'll never have a perfect glove just because the way my mind thinks. It's, it might seem like the perfect glove at the moment, but my goal is to just perfect evolution. And as the sport grows, I want to continue to have a new glove coming out every time we make it. Not that it's a whole new glove, just the adjustments that the consumers and the users are giving me back through their feedback.
Very cool. So I want to switch gears a little bit here. Did you happen to see, I kind of pick your brain a little bit here about some of the latest goings on in the world of MMA. So did you happen to see the Darren Till and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight?
I did not. I haven't watched the last 3 events. I actually didn't even know that. I was down at the UFC Performance Institute, and no one was there, and I had no idea fights were even going on that week. That's how that means I need to get headphones in and start paying attention to MMA news so I know what's going on, man. But I apologize. I've really been lost in putting this new shop together. And the last 3 sets of fights, Gaethje comes in and gives me an explanation on pretty much every fight.
Nice.
So he's kind of my feedback.
That's your source.
He's telling me, and I'm like, he was fighting. I didn't even know he was fighting, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, I get it, man. Hey, that's a good thing, though. If you got your head down growing that business, I mean, I'm not gonna fault you for that at all. So yeah, I guess. Since you didn't see that fight, I mean, have you at least heard about what happened with Darren Till and his weight cut? Have you heard that part of it?
I didn't. I know he missed weight, but I don't know what happened in the weight cut or what went on there. Gaethje was telling me he was talking some stuff prior to that, saying he's this big old guy for his weight class, and he told me he missed weight. But no, I have no idea about it, how it happened.
Yeah,
was it bad? Did he not try to cut? What was the issue with it?
Well, the issue was, I mean, he's a huge guy for the weight class for one, but in a couple of interviews, a couple of weeks prior, he was talking about he's going to be, big as expletive deleted on fight night, and saying that kind of thing. To fast forward, and he had a family emergency while he was trying to cut weight, the day before the fight, and that kind of threw off his timeline. But he missed by a couple of pounds. And then this video came out of the actual weight cut that he went through, and the guy was on death's door, wearing wearing the sauna suit inside the sauna as well, and he said he lost vision at one point and almost passing out.
Jeez.
Like all this kind of stuff, man. I was just kind of wanting to get your idea, like what do we do to avoid this kind of thing from happening, man?
That there's so many different things that you can do in this process. It's almost like micromanaging the fighters, because they're killing themselves. And to me, I think this is the biggest issue in the sport right now with someone dying. I think MMA is a super safe sport, but I think what the scary part to it is the weight cut and allowing people to cut so much weight. And I mean, kind of like what USADA does. They drop in and they drug test people. I really feel they should start doing that with athletes and make sure that they're within a certain amount of weight prior to the fight. And just so you don't leave it up to them to wait to the last minute. It's kind of like me when I was doing homework, So back in high school, I'll never forget, I was always doing it the last day. And when you're doing that, it's just not good for you. I mean, for a learning curve, I'm not going to retain anything. I'm not putting a lot of consistent effort into it. I feel like if people are being consistent with their weight, knowing their weight, and being disciplined with that, this sport is such a safe sport. But I mean, that's how people die. And again, I told you the analogy of being in the desert and then the promoter coming and getting you, and then you have to fight still because you've been out in the Sahara Desert for a couple of days. Those types of things are real. You're dehydrating your muscles. You're dehydrating your brain, which is a huge thing. And when Dwayne Ludwig used to cut a whole bunch of weight, and I mean, in the Jim Miller fight, he got dropped with a jab, and it wasn't even a hard jab. And Dwayne, through his prime of his career, had a really good chin. So it just shows what the weight cut will do. And it's again, if people die in MMA, I guarantee you there's something with weight going into it. But who knows? Maybe they can create something like USADA and drop in. And I mean, start finding them. It's kind of like if you're not going to be within a certain amount of weight, find people. They'll start being closer. Also, the people who are involved with them. If their team is involved with it, I mean, fines will change a lot of things. Anytime you get a parking ticket, you're not going to park without paying no more. I mean, those types of things. And it sounds crazy, and a lot of fighters might be against it. But again, people die, and this whole sport changes, and people start, looking at it as a dangerous sport. But if we can fix the weight issue, I mean, again, the sport will go on and go on and go on and continue to inspire, continue to entertain. And again, I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves is the danger in weight cutting.
Well, why do you think that exists? Because, I know boxing's been around longer, but it seems like it makes too much sense to do it. Why don't they take the model that boxers do? Most boxers...
Well, boxers are a little different. Like, boxers don't need the grappling strength. And guys think that the bigger they are, the stronger they are. I mean, it's just crazy to me. I always look at a subject that there's two sides to every subject. And when you're bigger, you're slower. So you got to look at the pros and cons of what you're doing in a certain weight class. And then also, what are you doing to your body prior to getting out there and performing? If you didn't sleep for 4 nights prior to a fight, that's going to affect you. It's the same thing. You're stressing your body out prior to going in there. If I'm taking my race car out to a racetrack and I'm out there doing laps with my race car and no one rebuilds my engine, no one puts new tires on it, I mean, that's really what you're doing prior to that fight. So it's that uneducation of going, oh, if I'm just bigger, I'm stronger. And that just makes no sense to me. Also, in boxing with championships, you can't weigh more than 10 pounds of what you weighed the day before. So in championship fights, they do have certain rules for that.
Yeah.
But again, there's so many different ways you can change it. No one likes change, so it's going to piss a lot of people off. Anything they try to change it.
Right.
Again, totally. I think it's just to move a step forward and again, on the big shows like UFC, they get so much publicity and people watching it. I mean, it's a huge issue for them because people can't fight. They end up having the doctor saying, "Hey, you're not capable of fighting." There's got to be something. I really feel like making sure weight consistently outside of the fight is probably the safest way. And who knows how that'll go? There's so many different perspectives on how you can do it, but something has to change.
And Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like, there's got to be something that changes. The funny thing about it is, every fighter I talk to says they hate weight cutting, says they feel better when they weigh 15 pounds lighter than they do on the. But they still all do it. I don't
understand it.
So I don't know. But it's kind of shifting gears a little bit on the same subject though of fighter health. You made headlines when you weren't even in the arena, as far as I know, the other night when during the Raquel Pennington and Amanda Nunes fight, when she said she wanted to quit after the 4th round, and everybody pointed to what you did with Nate Marquardt. So I don't know if you saw how that whole interaction played out, but you know, when a fighter turns to you and says, I've got nothing left, obviously we see how you handle it. Why do more guys not do it that way?
There's a lot of reasons. You know, it's first off, that was a championship fight, so they could have had the perspective of, hey, this might be your only time to fight for a championship fight. I could understand if there's like a puncher's chance, or you know, but when your fighter clearly asks you to stop the fight, I mean, that's what you're there for. Mm-hmm. And asked me to stop. Body posture was weird. I actually asked him. I went up very close to him in the corner, and I said, "Did you get hit with a body shot?" Because he was hunching with his shoulders, almost like he took a body shot. And there was just something weird going on. And he said, "No, I didn't." And then he said, "I have nothing left." He was just pretty much like, I can't even like move.
Yeah.
So then once he said he had nothing left, I was just like, all right, it's over. But you know, the rules when it comes to MMA too, they're very confusing. I was not able to stop the fight in Mexico. I actually jumped up on the canvas. They pulled me down. I told the commissioner, inspector who was with us to stop the fight. And he says only the doctor and the ref could stop it. So I went looking for the doctor. Couldn't really see him. I took him about halfway around the ring, and then I came back to the corner and started coaching him again. And once Nate had said that, I looked. I believe it was Herb Dean. Oh no, it was John. And I looked at John and I said, "John, stop the fight." And he was instantly like, "Stop the fight." But you know, it's crazy to me that if there's rules that you can't stop the fight, the coach is the one that knows their athlete the most. Yeah. And again, if that is the rule, I didn't really go deeply into it, because if I need to get a fight stopped, I'll jump in the cage.
Isn't that just silly? Isn't that silly though? Because you can just tap out at any point. Like, you can literally just tap the canvas and the fight's over. Like, why is that even a rule? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy that the coach couldn't stop the fight in Mexico, and I don't know if that was a Mexican rule. I have no idea. I didn't really dig into it afterwards. I mean, you should be able to. I mean, in boxing, it's just pretty much get up on the canvas. It used to be throw the towel in. And I had stopped Verno Phillips against Paul Williams, and I didn't get paid my full purse, and we really haven't spoke since.
Oh, wow.
And I still feel the same about the decision. You know, I stopped the fight. He was taking too much damage. Paul Williams was very long and throwing combinations.
Hold on, you fought my Paul Williams?
Yeah, Paul Williams, the one who's paralyzed right now. Yeah, so then Verno Phillips fought. Yeah. So we fought him for the WBO, and I stopped the fight in the 7th round. If you go back and watch that, you'll see me in the corner, and I stopped it, and he was totally okay with it at the moment. But again, it's hard. You know, in boxing, at least you get paid your full amount. That's another thing that I think has a lot to do with decisions. Is people, they think about the win money, and that's why a lot of fighters, they never stop the fight. But I have my fighters, Gaethje will say, never, ever, ever stop the fight, but I will if it's needed. You know, there's no doubt.
So basically, you're saying you can't really throw in the towel in UFC. That's why we don't see them.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't
I've never seen it. You know better than me.
I've heard people say that knowing the rules you can, but clearly in Mexico I couldn't. And again, that's the one thing. You go to all these different commissions, and rules change everywhere. I mean, it's just crazy to me that there's no national commission. That there's no you have your AEC rules and all those things that go into it, but every time you have a different inspector, a different commission behind it, rules are everything changes. Rules change in the locker rooms prior to going out. I mean, there was a time when I fought in Nebraska, one of my guys fought in Nebraska, and we couldn't even get gloved up until we were up in the ring. And they said, "You didn't bring some gloves to, warm up in?" And I'm like, hell no. Right. We're going to glove up when we're out there, so you're going to give them more time to cool down? Like, it just makes no sense. Like, there's no method behind a lot of these decisions. And again, it's one set of rules should be for a sport, especially, with the UFC, they have their set of rules. But again, when you're dealing with the inspector who's also got their rules, a lot of things can always be confusing.
Man, powerful stuff, man.
Dropping that knowledge on us, man. I learned some stuff today.
Absolutely. Well,
So I learned some stuff in Mexico City too. On the spot.
Yeah. These rules and these commissions, man. I just wish I wish they were truly unified, like they all claim they are, but it's not. It's different.
Yeah.
It's a guessing game every week. It's crazy.
They almost would have thought I was coming in for tag team because again I would call the fence to stop the fight if I need to, but that would be quite entertaining.
Yes, absolutely. That's a completely different sport there. But yeah, man. But Trevor, man, we appreciate you coming on the show again, man. Best of luck in all the future upcoming fights with all your guys over there at the MMA awards as well. Sweep the board over there, man. You guys
Look forward to seeing you there. I'll be there.
Yeah, I don't even know when that is. Do you guys know when it is?
July 3rd, the day before 4th of July this year.
Oh man, that's coming up quick.
We breaking news for Trevor.
I don't is that like a mandatory thing to be at? Because I don't even think I own a suit, and I think that's like a red carpet event.
Yes, sir, it is.
It's a red carpet event, but I'll tell you this: like I saw fighters in jeans and t-shirts. Fighters
nice.
fighters sometimes. But,
yeah.
But yes,
Great.
it is very much supposed to be a black tie event. But it is what it is.
Well, I got a suit. I got a suit, but it's a sweatsuit, so hopefully that's okay.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, we'll catch you out there, man. Thanks for coming on the show again, and we'll look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for being patient with me too. I've been so busy. So again, I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing, and thank you so much for being patient with me because man, I've been so stacked.
Absolutely,
I appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely, not a problem, man. We appreciate your time
all
as
right.
always. All right, Trevor. We'll catch up with you again soon. Thank you again.
Okay, sounds good.
Right, have a good one.
It was our theme in 2018. When you ball, you get the call. We have a very special guest making her slip and dip debut, Mrs. Andrea KGB Lee, fresh off her UFC win after UFC Chile. What'd you spend on that fight of the night bonus on? That $50K that you got for beating Miss Veronica Masato?
We haven't spent it yet. I mean, we're fixing to finish paying for some jet skis. But we got a really good deal on those. So far, I haven't got the $50K yet. I haven't got that yet. So we're just waiting on the UFC, I guess, to finish drug testing everybody, get the results, and then I guess I'll get paid. I plan on saving it.
So if you could script your debut, knowing what you know now, would it go exactly how it went?
I mean, yeah, I would prefer to have strike more, but yeah, I mean, I think that it went perfectly because if I had gotten a finish, I wouldn't have got fight of the night. So I think that it went exactly how it should have gone.
And let's address the elephant in the room. I know you're a low-profile lady. Give us some insight to all this craziness that's been surrounding you with the whole swastika and all that craziness the last 24 hours.
Well, yeah, that's been very crazy for me. I took a picture with my husband, and he has some embarrassing tattoos. He has a swastika on his arm, and he's normally careful about posting pictures, but he posted our lake pictures on Twitter, and people zoomed in on his tattoos, and they saw the swastika, and then they started commenting and posting hateful stuff, and he saw it immediately, and he was upset. And then I saw it, and then I just, everybody was turning on me, because I'm, he's my husband, and I'm standing next to him. So obviously, I must be racist and Nazi. But I promise you guys, when I met Donnie, he had the tattoos. I was probably like 12 when he got the tattoos, to be honest. But when I met him, I asked him questions about his tattoos because I was curious as well. Want to know why he had them, and he told me his story, and he was talking about how he changed, and I even asked him why wouldn't he cover him up, I felt the same way, I thought, maybe you should cover him up, but he says that it looks terrible already, and that it would just make it worse. So I don't know. I mean, I can't make him do it. I can't make him throw something on there. But I swear to y'all, neither one of us are racist. you know, he just has, you know, he had a bad past, obviously, and he's got it on his arms, and he, you know, he didn't mean to put it out there for everybody to see, and you know, he certainly doesn't want to ruin my career.
Yeah,
So,
I guess.
But then to move on to, you know, I mean, I'm not used to getting that kind of hate, I guess, and you know, when I read the first couple of messages, you know, and everybody was calling me, you know, white trash and white supremacist and Nazi cunt and all this other kind of stuff, you know, I mean, like, my blood did start to boil, and I got upset, you know, and that was just within a few seconds of reading the first few tweets, and so I started messaging, you know, I started to respond, you know, and Donnie's over here, he's upset, and then it's you know, upsetting me, and then, you know, I'm reading this and they're all upsetting me, so I wrote something, and you know, and it was, you know, I'm not racist, you know, I mean, I have, my best friend's Asian, and then my other best friend's black, and they both live with us, and then I was like, y'all are just being sensitive mofos, and you know, I sent it, and then when I sat there and no, I shouldn't have sent that, so I went back and deleted it, but by then it was already screenshot it, and I made a bigger deal about it. So I mean, I apologize for that. I mean, like, I understand how people feel, but I mean, I was very upset and sensitive to what they were calling me, you know. So I mean, that was why I said what I said.
For my man Matt asked a question. We appreciate two brothers. Appreciate you coming onto our show and giving us the real deal.
You're welcome, y'all. You're the first ones that I've talked to. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and you kind of jumped through some hoops to get this going tonight. So we appreciate the patience, getting the technology and everything set up. But yeah, so I mean, we have a few mutual friends. You know, I as soon as all of this started, you know, coming out, I was like, I know people that know Andrea and her husband, and I've never heard them say a bad thing about him, like either one of them. But you know, of course, all this stuff starts coming out, and then we scheduled this interview with you last week. So it's like, oh wow, this interview just got a lot more interesting when it comes up here, right? And so you know, I reached out to a couple of people, talked out to a couple other people that you know that know you as well. I won't name names, but you know, again, it was just more of the same thing. They're like, I can't think of as a bad thing to say about Andrea or her husband, and I guess. You know, you kind of answered it there a little bit, but, you know, to kind of play devil's advocate a little bit with the tattoos and everything, I mean, how many times have you guys had the conversation about getting it covered up, considering you're on the big stage now, you're on the UFC, you know, they're moving to ESPN now, like the whole branding and everything like that could be something that could cause some problems. I mean, have you guys had that talk since this is front page news on MMA Junkie right now?
Well, yes, we have, and actually, you know, I mean, him and I just had the talk earlier. You know, we were discussing it. You know, talking about just trying to find someone that could cover it up and maybe, you know, make it look good. You know, and make it look not trashier than it already, you know, it is. But you know, we're gonna talk about it and see what happens. You know, like I've asked, you know, we've talked about it before at the beginning, but you know, I just, you know, neither one of us have really discussed it. He always wears long sleeves, but yeah. So I mean, we talked about it then, you know, and then, you know, we haven't talked about it since. You know, he always wears long sleeves, and he's always very careful with, you know, with his arms showing. And you know, we went out to the lake, and you know, he got careless. So you know, we'll just have to we'll discuss it more.
Has anyone from the UFC or any of your sponsors or anything like that contacted you since this has become news?
Yes, you know, all my sponsors are, you know, very awesome to me. They all have my back, and you know, they're just hoping, you know, we get everything smoothed over. And the UFC we've talked to them, and the UFC PR, and they've been helping us get everything smoothed over as well. So I'm not gonna get cut, guys.
Is that something that crossed your mind?
No, I mean, I don't see why they should cut me for someone else's, things. I mean, that's not. I mean, I was like 12 when he got those tattoos. I mean, I didn't even know who he was then. And when I come into the picture, he was a completely changed person. I mean, he just has it on his body. It's still there. So a lot of people don't like that. But I mean, I don't have a single tattoo, and I mean, I've never been. Neither one. I mean, I'm not racist, and Donnie's not either.
Yeah. So what do you want to let those trolls out there that try to come at you that don't know you? This is your platform. What do you want to let those Twitter and social media trolls that came at you out the blue?
What do I think of them?
No, yeah. What do you think about them? What you want them to know? What do you want? This your platform to tell them how you really feel.
Well, I mean, I think that y'all talk about hate, and y'all are calling me racist, which the more you keep it's not going to eventually make it true. I'm not racist, and people talk about hate, but they're the ones that are breeding hate. They're trolling people on Facebook and they're breeding more hate. I've never seen so much hate in my life, but I mean, like, people are on there, they're always creating these things that they I don't know why. You want people that aren't racist to be racist? I will never be racist, but I mean, like, why do you keep? I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, like, racist, and I'm like, no, I'm not racist. Clearly, you can look at my social medias and you can look at the pictures of the people and everybody that I've taken pictures with, like, throughout my entire life, and clearly see I'm not racist, and Donnie is not racist. But, I just feel like y'all are the ones that are breeding hate, not me.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's a weird situation, right? I mean, I would say, I mean, I'm not trying to give you guys advice or anything like that, but I do like the fact that you said that, the UFC PR has reached out to you guys. They're a fantastic team. They know how to handle, image and everything like that. I know a lot of the guys that work on the PRC, guys and girls that work on the PR team, so they're fantastic. I'm sure that they're going to do whatever they can to, help get you guys through this and, find the best solution. And again, just kind of echo again what I said earlier. Mutual friends that I know of various different races, they've never had a bad thing to say about you. So I can speak to them on that and kind of echo what they've told me. But it's a weird spot. I think this is one of those things that, obviously it's gonna be tough on you guys for the next however many days. But I think once people, once you get another fight scheduled, once you get in the cage again, once you get out there, show your skills. The reason why we're paying attention to Andrea Lee is because she's a badass fighter. So once he gets you back in the cage again, maybe some of this stuff will start to go away.
I hope so. I mean, I'm sure it's going to bring it back up, but
for sure. I mean, no, go ahead. Sorry.
I do want to apologize to everybody who I offended. I don't like to offend people. I'm always very careful with how I portray things and word things, and I just, in the heat of the moment, like, I wasn't very thoughtful. I wasn't thought out. I wasn't rational, like, realizing everything, and I wasn't in the right state of mind whenever I posted that. So I do apologize to everybody. I am sympathetic to,
there's nothing wrong with the picture itself, right? I mean, it's a picture of you and your husband having a nice day out at the lake, but then it's like, you zoom in, you see the thing, like, people are digging into the tattoos, right? So, I mean, there's nothing that was said hateful on the image or in the quote or anything like that, but it's the tattoos, obviously. And of course, I mean, the outrage is valid, but because nobody knew that story. Nobody knows the story behind it. If he says that they're still there because it helps remind him of his past, is that kind of the thing? It helps kind of remind him of how he used to be and kind of never to go there again?
Yes.
Okay.
I see everybody's point of view, well, why don't you just get it covered up, instead of being reminded by it every day. I see everybody's point of view. I see his, I see theirs. I'm just, I just wish that we could all get along. I just want to stay neutral, you know. I mean,
Right.
I'm afraid to say. I'm afraid to, you know. I don't know what, you know, I'm gonna say on here. It's gonna end up being twisted. You know, people are gonna take my words and twist them, and I don't know. And I don't want to hurt Donnie's feelings either. You know, I don't know if like what I'm saying. So, you know, I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I don't want to say something.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough spot for you because we don't want you to, because you're like kind of forced into speaking for him in a way. And I know he's put out a couple of statements on social media as well. For anybody listening right now, go check them out. They're out there. You know, it's on everybody's website right now. So I mean, it's easily accessible to see what he said.
I'm just.
I think the only thing that people are going to be happy with is if there's a cover up. Other than that, there's always going to be some people out there that are like, you know, this is, some people always see it as unacceptable, despite who you guys really are.
And I told Donnie that. I said the only thing I'm with is if you, and they're going to keep coming at us. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe we'll be able to, we'll work, maybe him and I can, you know, work some things out, you know, and, you know, maybe, I don't know, like we're, you know, we'll see, you know.
For sure.
I'm stuck. I don't want to upset him. I don't want to upset them. I mean, like, you know, I want to make everybody happy.
Yeah, of course you don't want to be in the midst of this imbroglio ever. But is it good that it's not happened? Not like, what if this was a fight week? Would this be extra hard to go in the cage and fight somebody? Say if this was a Wednesday, you got to fight somebody on Saturday. God.
If this, you know what? I was telling my sister earlier. I said I am so good at blocking everything out. Like I have much crap, you know, personal stuff in my personal life, and as long as it never involves. Like, you know, I'm like able to keep that stuff off social media, and you know, you know, all the fans, you know, they believe that everything's like freaking rainbows and butterflies and unicorns, you know, in my life, and even when it's not, you know, I mean, like, you know, I try to portray that, you know, and I can still go into my fight with clear mind and fight my ass off and come out with like an incredible performance, you know, most of the time. But this is affecting my career, you know, directly. And I don't think that I would be able to. I mean, I probably could push it aside just because I'm very, very tough mentally. I believe I am very tough mentally, but it is like I've never been so upset and like really cried about stuff in a long time than I have like now.
Yeah, it's a stressful thing. It's a stressful thing, and you know, like I said earlier, when this stuff came out, I was like, man, this interview just got a lot more tougher. I wanted to get on here and talk to Andrea about, you know, me seeing her fight way back in the Ascend Combat days, going out there, just skills across the board. Like I remember watching you at Ascend Combat. I'm gonna pull up which fight it was real quick, because I had 3 of my training partners fight on the same card. It was let's see here. It was Ascend Combat Mayhem 3 against Magali Gaudet. I believe that's how you say her name.
Magali Gaudet? Yeah.
Yes, in 2013, way back then. And I remember you won that fight by TKO in the first round. And I remember I was like, man, if this girl strings together a few wins, she's going to be in the UFC. And here we are. You're in the UFC.
Yeah.
We've seen you go through Invicta and everything. And it's just amazing. It's cool because like there's been a couple of fighters that have come through Ascend Combat in Shreveport Bossier area that have gone on to like the One Championships, that have done the LFAs, that have gone to bigger promotions. I think you may be the only one to make the UFC. Or is there somebody else?
Matt Schnell.
That's right. That is right. Yeah. There's been there are Bellator fighters too. There's a ton of guys that went on to Bellator too. So it's crazy to see these guys that, you know, you were just training a few miles away and it's like you're in the UFC now. It's pretty crazy. So did you ever think way back then, 2013 and 2018, you'd be in the UFC? Did you think that?
You know, I started to believe it. You know, by that point, you know, I knew that it was that the opportunity was gonna happen. You know, because with Ronda Rousey, you know, getting into the like opening the doors to the UFC, I knew that if I stayed on the same path that I was, and I kept coaching. You know, Donnie and I, you know, we both had faith. Not just Donnie and I, but I mean, like our whole team, everybody surrounding us, you know, believed in us. So, and it would happen eventually. It just had to wait until they opened up the flyweight division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so cool. But I think, looking at, since you're here now, right? Since you been in there, you shook the octagon jitters, got your hand raised. What's the path that you're looking to be on? Are you trying to take it slow? Are you trying to get to that title fight pretty quickly? What's the game plan here for your career?
Well, I mean, I don't want to rush things. I want to get some fights under me, and get some experience. I mean, experience. I just want to get comfortable, fighting in front of these crowds, and just comfortable in the UFC. So I want to get the right fights, and I want to work my way up there. I don't want any shortcuts. I want to get the right fights, and I do want to fight for the title eventually. But I need to earn it. I need to prove it.
Who'd you like to fight next?
I don't have a name really. I really don't. So I just be happy with anybody. I'm sure. I guess they have me marked as ranked number 12. So I'm sure maybe it'll be somebody ahead of me in the top 10, 11. So I don't know. We'll see.
And we know you're not much of a trash talker, but what if somebody try to bring this up in trash talk? Are you prepared to do battle with them verbally, a future opponent down the line?
I'll put it like this: if it's anybody with some bad intentions, they're gonna throw it at you. So you gotta be prepared. I know it's gonna be tough in the moment right now, but
I know. I mean, I'm not a shit talker, so hopefully, it doesn't come down to that, because I'm not good at it anyway. So I'd probably just avoid it. I don't think I'd say anything. But who knows until the time comes. I mean, of course I'm going to defend myself, and I'm like, I'm not racist.
Yeah.
But I guess that's all that I can do. I mean,
For people that don't know you, what do you think about fight fans that ask why you go by KGB and you just a nice Southern belle? Like that just kind of doesn't go together.
It means kicking guys' balls, of course.
Yes.
Look, I've done that a lot in training, and I don't know a female that hasn't, but I have done it a lot. And so I mean, really, that could be what it stands for. But I got the nickname because my team was saying that I looked Russian, and then they started picking at me and calling me KGB. And every day I was like, my name is not KGB. I was like, why are y'all calling me that? But it stuck, and it went KGB Lee, So I mean, everybody else started calling me that, and it just stuck. It has nothing to do with the real KGB. It's just KGB, like assassin, and but it just stuck.
Yeah, that's the thing with nicknames, is the moment you say you hate the nickname, it's gonna keep coming at you even more and more. So
I know. And I really was like, stop, I'm not KGB. I was like, that's so silly, but it stuck. And there, some people, a lot of people hated it. A lot of people liked it, so.
Yeah. So, being that you're obviously at the highest level of the sport now, are you going to be looking at, changing up training camps, or are you sticking with what got you there right now?
Well, I'm going to stick with, obviously, what got me here. I mean, I've never been the type to change up training camp. We do like to travel, every now and then we'll go places. I'm supposed to be traveling to Colorado, train with Tisha Torres. Hopefully none of this, this talk will jeopardize that. But I'm supposed to go up there and train with her for 2 weeks. So we'll see if that's still in the plans. Yeah, who knows? I might be screwed up. Who knows? But yeah, for the most part, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay with Karate Mafia.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm excited to see what happens with you next, when you're gonna get another fight in the UFC. Because, like I said, for me personally, it's kind of a cool thing to see someone I saw so many years ago make it all the way up there. So, I mean, I guess I gotta say this for you, Andrea. I mean, it's going to be a rough few days for you. Just keep your heads up. I mean, the best thing, like, my advice to you guys is just keep attacking it head on. you can get on social media and say I'm not racist, but how do you prove? Like everyone's gonna be like, how do you prove you're not racist? Oh, you got one black. Like you can't win. Yeah. So I mean, the best thing to do would be just
keep brothers bypass.
Yeah, like you guys know what you guys are, and like I said, I've heard nothing but glowing reviews of the type of people that you are. So just keep attacking it head on, and I think time will heal everything. So that'd be my advice to you.
Well,
guys.
I mean, we've both made our statements, and I don't think that I really don't know how much more I could possibly say.
Right.
So I don't know. I kind of want to just log off social media for a while.
Yeah.
So next time when you get your fight announced, can we get you back on the show under better circumstances? So you doing your thing, what you do best.
Yes, I'd love that. Please, thank you. That would be great.
And thanks for your time. Thanks for accepting my reach out to you after you got your win. Hopefully you get the ball, you get the call. Appreciate for taking that call, and appreciate you coming and miss all this chaos and telling your side of the story. We greatly appreciate it.
No, thank you for letting me appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah. I know it's something tough to talk through. So once again, thank you for the time. You're an amazing fighter, and wish you nothing but the best going forward.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.